Oh, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, how are you guys doing? Hello, yeah. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's been super amazing, coming here today to have this chat with you. While I was at the backstage listening to the first speaker who spoke before me, and I was hearing the audience applauding and all that. I was just like, how many people are actually in there? Because I've not really like spoke in front of huge, audience like that. But this is really a big opportunity for me, coming to talk with you guys, and I really, really appreciate this opportunity. And I want to say a very big thank you for you guys coming out, to be here today. And I want to say a big thank you as well for the convenience, and I wish you guys more strength to be able to, organize more of this that will benefit and enrich the people of this community. And the guests at large and all that. So, yesterday I was surfing the internet, trying to wrap my head on what to come here today to talk about, and I came across this video on Facebook. This young guy was begging a lady to please follow him. I think the lady happens to be a content creator or something, and this guy is also trying to be a content creator, and he's looking for somebody who has made it that would follow him, and he will gain popularity and all that. So he was literally begging this lady. He was on his knees, begging, asking the lady to follow him back. He went as far as saying that he's a mechanic, an electrician in a mechanic workshop. Apparently, he does wiring in a car, and all that. It touched me. Like, I don't know, I was so emotional when he knelt down. I could see the expression on the lady's face, like, oh my God, is this really happening? Like, can people actually do this? And all that. I just noticed that tears were just like coming down my chin, and I'm like, wow, what people do to actually be a content creator and all that. Now, why I'm telling this story, right, is because to tell a story, it requires a lot. It requires authentication. It requires a lot of effort to come up with a good story that will interest your audience, interest people and all that. But today, I want to say that a lot of people have forgotten the stories in their history, okay? What we clamor for today is just luxury, fantasy and all that. We have forgotten our history, our foundation, where we started from. Are you listening? So, I am here today to, talk more on storytelling and to bring a little bit of Kazakh story and all that. So, today is an honor to stand before you today in Kazakhstan, a country with deep, rich culture, heritage, and as you can see behind me, my name is Collins, and I'm a filmmaker, storyteller, creative visionary. I want to start with a single question. When was the last time a story changed the way you saw the world? Maybe it was a film that moved you to tears, a book that stayed with you long after you finished reading, okay? or even a personal story from a friend that made you reflect on life differently, personally. I have a burning desire to tell cultural stories of Africa and Kazakhstan like no one. Like no one has ever told them before. Like, I'm in this country to influence and impact the entertainment industry. And I hope the people of this country, the community in this country, the government will give me the privilege to do something different. Because a lot of internationals are here, and many of them are doing one thing or the other, but I've not really seen an international person like me who want to go deep into entertainment industry with so much desire, burning desire to make collaboration with these two countries, Africa, Nigeria, and Kazakhstan as a whole. Okay, so I believe stories hold the power to bridge continents, generations, and histories. They shape us, yeah, really, they do. Define our identity and inspire change. So today, let's explore the power of storytelling and other little things we can just touch. So why we are wired for it. Like, there's a reason why we are wired for storytelling, how it shapes our cultures, businesses, and personal lives, and how we all harness it to create meaningful impacts in different sectors. All right? Yeah. So, why are humans wired for storytelling? I will tell you. From the earliest cave paintings to modern cinema, humans have always been storytellers. But why? First, we have neuroscience behind stories. Our brains are wired to respond to stories. Research shows that when we hear a compelling story, multiple areas of our brain light up, not just the language center, but also those responsible for emotional movement and sensory experience. Now, when I was little, I can remember when my mom will, sit us down at night and tell us stories about, histories about war, when she was younger, how she got married at early stage of age. Like, back then you have people get married at the age of 13 years, at the age of 16 in Africa. Back then, it wasn't even about love, it was about matchmaking. And in the marriage, they stayed there and developed feelings and all that. So she told these stories. Sometimes she would tell the stories with tears in her eyes based on the mistakes that she made, wrong decisions, wrong choices, and all that. And those stories back then touched us. Sometimes she would wake us as early as 5 a.m. in the morning and tell us stories and remind us how my father died and leaving us all to herself, to cater for, to take care of, and all that. Sincerely, I must confess, those stories kind of shape my person today. That I left my mom when I was 14 to the city, and when people were saying teenagers and youths were living a wayward life, they were living, a rotten life and all that, I was conscious of the kind of life I was living without anyone, advising me or asking me to live this kind of lifestyle or do this kind of thing. I was conscious. I was in the moment at every given time. Though There were times I made wrong decisions, and my mistakes taught me great lessons, like I learned in a hard way. Yeah, but I must confess, those stories my mom told back then really mold the kind of person I am, like the emotional part of it. Now, talking about emotional connection, unlike data or facts, stories make us feel. And emotions drive memory, making stories far more powerful than plain informations. It also gives us a sense of identity and belongings. Stories create communities. They help us understand where we come from and where we belong. They preserve our heritage and pass down wisdom from one generation to the next. The story of Africa reminds me my heritage, where I came from. Okay? So I don't need any other person to tell me, oh, you're black, oh, you're Nigerian, you're African. I know that already. Why? Because I grew up in the moment I was told these stories. So here in Kazakhstan's oral traditions, just like African folklores, have kept history alive for centuries. The stories of nomadic warriors, poets, and leaders are not just tales. They are a living memory of a people. And that is the power of storytelling. It keeps culture alive. And I want to dive into it. Like, in my first year, I did Kazakh history. And I fell in love with some of the historic stories of Kazakhstan that have been preserved over the years. And I told myself, as a media person, I want to, make a combination. And I have stories that have just been coming. I had like log lines and synopses that I have prepared that will bring a merge between African stories, cultural stories, and Kazakh cultural stories coming together. So there will be some kind of like collaborations between Nigerian actors and Kazakh actors. Of course, we know is going to be in English, so both actors are going to speak English. But trust me, it's going to be something that we hit Kazakhstan and they were like, wow, what is going on? So I'm not trying to like do adverts, here to you guys, but I just want you guys to like take note because I'm coming. All right. So the second thing I would like to talk about is how stories shape cultures and businesses and individual mindset. Stories influence more than just entertainment. They shape how we see the world. Yeah, they do. Stories preserve traditions, define moral values, and unite people under a common identity. For instance, the Kazakh epic Koblandi Barti is not just a warrior's tale. It is a reflection of bravery, honor, and heritage. Similarly, African folktale carries the wisdom of ancestors, teaching values through myth and proverbs. Yeah, I don't know if Kazakh people have proverbs in their country, like, idioms or something. No? I would have loved to say one proverb, but I don't know if you would understand it. Okay? Okay, so that is, by the way. So business and branding. Companies that tell compelling stories build loyal customers. Think about how Apple doesn't just sell technology. It sells innovation and creativity. Nike doesn't just sell shoes. It sells determination and achievement. In Kazakhstan, brands that embrace their cultural narratives resonate deeply with their people. They do. I observed that. So, personal mindset. The stories we tell ourselves shapes our realities. A child who grows up hearing stories of resilience and greatness will believe they, like, too, can achieve something meaningful. On the other hand, negative internal narrative can limit potential. Yeah. This is why I believe in telling cultural stories that change perceptions, that shows the beauty of both Africa and Kazakhstan beyond the cliches the world has seen. So you guys will have to wait for me. So relating to Kazakhstan rich culture, Kazakhstan is a land of poetry, music, and epic narratives. Your culture, much like mine, is rooted in storytelling. From the Dombra, accompanied songs of the Tepes, to the ancient tales of Ablai Khan, Kazakhstan's story hold lessons of resilience, honor, and identity. And yet, I ask, how many of these stories are being told to the world today? How many? It's not just about action film, comedy, and other. Just like I have observed, there are ways you can make combinations of these ancient stories, and the world will see it and resonate with Kazakh, history. Similarly, in Africa, we have stories that have been passed down from generations, stories of kings, queens, warriors, and wisdoms. But often, these stories remain hidden, untold to a global audience. Imagine what could happen if we combine these storytelling traditions of Africa and Kazakhstan. I believe Kazakh would also learn something about Africa, especially Nigeria. Nigeria is really very popular in Africa. And then Nigeria, or Africa as a whole, we also tend to learn something about Kazakhstan. So, if we brought our culture together through film, literature, and digital media, imagine a world where the voices of our ancestors guide the future. I stand here today not just to talk about storytelling, but to change you. How can we take ownership of our own narratives? How can we share the stories of Kazakhstan with the world? The story of Kazakhstan needs to be shared with the world. And I think I stand in a better position to take it to the world. Why? Because I am an international body. So if I am involved, of course, it goes to the world. Now, we have two combinations of bringing both words, together, both countries, actually. So how to craft a powerful story? Everyone in this room has a story to tell, trust me. But how do we make it powerful? Start with emotion. Make your audience feel something, whether it's joy, sorrow, or inspiration. Emotion is what makes story memorable. 2, follow the structure. Every great story has 3 acts. Beginning, set the stage. Conflict, introduce a challenge. And resolution, show transformation. And the third one, which is the last, be authentic. The best stories are real. Speak from your experience, your culture, your truth. And if you want to bring in international bodies, like you want to make Kazakh film and you want to bring Nigerian in it, don't look for any black person who is not Nigerian to come and speak Nigerian accent. Nobody will give you Nigerian accent like Nigerian. So Just look for a Nigerian to play that character for you and give you the Nigerian accent and interpret the character well, okay? So, finally, I want us to do this. I want to call for action and also do the conclusion. The power of storytelling lies in its ability to change minds, bridge gaps, and inspire action. The question is, what story will you tell? Will you be the one to document Kazakhstan feeding traditions? Will you tell the untold stories of your ancestors? Or will you create something entirely new that shapes the future? I leave you with this. A story not told is a story lost. Don't let your story go untold. So let's do this together. I need the support of every one of you in Kazakhstan. Private bodies, government, studios, universities, wherever you are. I need this support to make this vision come to pass. Thank you. See you next time.